If it's Tuesday, this must be Belgium. If it's Wednesday, this must be Rome. If it's Thursday, this must be Montrose. I fear I never want to go home.
Good morning to you both. I'm surprised I managed to be on time. Slept through my alarm.
Sounds like you need a new alarm, Joe. What alarm do you use?
It's my ringtone.
And that's supposed to wake you up, is it, Joe? Okay.
Didn't even hear the rest of the family leave before me. Well, the days have all been a bit up in the air since this COVID thing started.
Well, yes, but also, it is Tuesday after all.
Yes, Alex, it is Tuesday, but you've obviously got more to tell us than that. Oh, it's another one of your little observations, isn't it?
Don't think it's just me that's noticed that GP's mode is at its worst on Tuesdays.
GP? Oh, right. That's your shorthand for all the customers. General public. So, why Tuesday? Can't say I've noticed particularly.
On Mondays, most people still have a bit of extra energy from the weekend, despite knowing that it's Monday again. But on Tuesday, that energy is totally gone, and it sinks in that there's still some time before the weekend again. However, from Wednesday onwards, the energy starts to build up again.
Well, that makes some kind of sense, I suppose. Though it's different for us. We don't work Monday to Friday. So what's our Tuesday?
I think every day has been like Tuesday recently, Sam. It's been even more difficult to tell one day from the next, which wasn't even that easy before in this job.
GP have outdone themselves doing COVID. I should write a book on the things I've picked up from what people do here.
Well, go on, Alex. Give us a sneak preview. We still have a few minutes before things start up for the day.
First, there's the watchers. They are always looking closely around them to ensure they stay far enough away from everyone else.
Yes, anti-social distancing.
Well, anyway. The second group are the cleaners. They will always make sure that anything they have to touch is sanitised first. They spend the longest time here. The third group are the lingerers. They will stand at a distance from a crowded area and then quickly nip in and back out when the time is right.
Impressive, with noticing all those details. It's surprising you've had any time to do any work.
Very funny, Sam. So the last group are the blasés. They really want you to know that they're not going to allow COVID to get the better of them. They usually insist on always talking with staff. Problem is, they're often the most tedious people you could ever meet.
You are such a people person, Alex.
I have to deal with enough at home. You can only have so much patience to deal with people, particularly at the moment.
True, it's been unreal since all this started. Almost as if it hasn't really been happening at all, if you know what I mean.
Kind of. Most people still can't make sense of all the changes to their lives that all happened overnight, basically.
People are just living more in their own bubbles than ever they did before.
The next thing will be people literally living in bubbles.
Oh, stop, Sam. Remember, it's Tuesday. Funny thing this morning. As I was walking from the car park, I just happened to look upwards, and the view just seemed different. I can't really explain it. The shape of the clouds, the height of those trees at the far end, even the breeze, just didn't feel the same.
Don't worry, Joe. By lunchtime today, everything will feel exactly the same again. You can count on that.
Like I was saying, everything is a bit out of kilter at the moment. Even my dreams are different since the pandemic started.
I can't really remember mine. Obviously they're not memorable enough.
In my household, I'm just concerned with getting enough proper sleep every night, and not with noticing any changes in my dreams. Working here recently has been enough like a dream anyway. But an annoying dream. Not a pleasant one.
I've just remembered something. Last week a customer started to chat to me about how the pandemic has changed people's internal radar, as she put it, so that people can now look at things in a different way. Not sure which of the 4 GP groups she fits into.
She seems to be in a category of her own.
Also, before she headed off, she said these lines: "We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams."
Ah, Willy Wonka.
Actually, Joe, I looked it up, and it was Arthur O'Shaughnessy who wrote that.
And I just get the blasés who want to explain in detail how the Great Reset works. And why it's so obvious to them, but not to gullible fools like me.
You know the way that some people you meet remind you of other people you've known before? That woman last week was very like a woman who lived near us when I was a child. She lived alone, known to be a bit different, but she would always have something unusual to say when she passed you by.
Do you remember anything specific that she used to say, Sam?
Tourists who have forgotten they're on holiday. Don't ask me how I remember that.
Well, I had plenty of forgettable holidays, so she might have been on to something.
Looks like things are ready to start up. I'll take any kind of holiday right now, forgettable or not.
I dozed off on the sofa last night. Everyone else kindly just left me there. Had me earphones on and were listening to a podcast. So I was half asleep, half awake, with the podcast still playing. When I woke up, it had finished, and I just had a confusing memory of voices speaking randomly and out of sync with each other.
A bit like working here some days.
OK, let's get ready to rumble.
It's just like I never left here yesterday. Where does the time go?
It's Tuesday, Joe. There's something about Tuesdays. Can't quite put my finger on it.
It's every day at the moment, Alex.
Still, feel I haven't properly woken up yet. When I was coming into the building, I had this strange urge to look up to the sky. Don't know why. Looked the same as it always does.
Strange urges, eh? You want to be careful with those, Joe.
Everything's the same as yesterday, and will be the same tomorrow. People will behave the same way too. That is, strangely.
I was listening to a radio programme with my earphones in bed last night and just nodded off. Must have gone into a deep sleep with the programme still on. It was about COVID and how it has changed people's patterns and routines and even how we look at things.
Like making people tired more often.
I think the programme got jumbled up in my mind when I was asleep. It started with the example of a tourist who gets so taken up with their holiday that they decide to make big personal changes. Also, I recall hearing my son singing "Row Your Boat" to himself before going back to sleep. That would make a nice ringtone. I probably had a fascinating dream, though can't remember any of it.
We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Arthur O'Shaughnessy!
No, Willy Wonka. You definitely haven't fully woken up yet, Joe.
Apparently not, Sam.
If this is real, I must be dreaming. Can't wait to tell the folks back home. Home. Can't wait to tell the folks back home.